Having an occasional lapse in memory is a normal part of the aging process. However, when those memory lapses interfere with daily living and become a concern, it's important to consult a doctor. Learning that an aging parent or loved one is facing a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia can be scary and overwhelming, but it's not something you have to go through alone. And although Alzheimer's and dementia are progressive diseases, it doesn't mean you cannot still create great days. Renaissance Village understands the fear and frustration you may be experiencing in caring for your loved one's memory care needs. Caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's or dementia can be very difficult, and it's important to have the right care in place to ensure the safety of individuals with memory care needs. It's not always easy to admit when a loved one is in need of memory care. Deciding if memory care is the right option for your loved one is an important decision, and one that should not be made lightly. Today, we'll try to help you with that decision. And please remember, this decision will also affect you and your family. Setting realistic expectations for memory care at Renaissance Village. In today's world, few people are prepared for or have the time available to care for someone who's facing a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia. Sometimes you just may not have the necessary skills or knowledge to care for your loved one on your own. Plus, if you're depending on yourself to provide this care, it can become overwhelming. Providing care for a loved one can, at a certain point, become a chronic stressor that poses several risks to a person's physical, mental, and social health. Those caring for a loved one are at an increased risk of depression and anxiety, a weakened immune system, obesity, chronic diseases like heart disease and cancer, and problems with their own short-term memory. To keep ourselves in good health, we all need help. Renaissance Village offers purpose-built memory care apartments that provide residents with exclusive amenities and personalized care. Our living areas are designed with the goal of providing secured spaces for private dining, gardening, and sensory rooms, all within our memory care apartment homes. Memory care is for seniors who have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia and require a more structured environment that includes more hands-on attention than independent living or assisted living offers. It's different from living at home, and sometimes residents can have a hard time making that transition. Visitors may occasionally observe odd behaviors from residents with memory care. We strive to ease that transition and make our residents comfortable. We've learned that this transition works best when family members have realistic expectations for their loved ones who's entering memory care. Understanding the changes. If you decide to move yourself or a loved one into memory care community, it's important that everyone understands the differences between living at home and living in a group setting. Renaissance Village offers many activities for residents to enjoy and stay active. At home, residents can eat whatever and whenever they want. At Renaissance Village, there's somewhat limited control over menus and eating times. Renaissance Village encourages residents to consume healthy portions and take advantage of the array of nutritional options. It may take your loved one time to adjust to the new environment. Transitioning into their new home may cause depression and at times even anger toward the family. But we're here to assist in the transition. It's also important to remember that sometimes residents forget or aren't yet ready to give up their independence and continue to try and perform activities of daily living on their own. At times, it may result in falls or other injuries. Indeed, falls may occur for a wide variety of reasons. We want to encourage residents to walk and take part in physical activities. However, this may lead to falls as well. Renaissance Village does its best to care for your loved one, but we don't provide 24/7 one-on-one supervision. The memory care difference. Please remember that generally Renaissance Village does not offer the same level of care found in a nursing home. Please keep this in mind when deciding whether or not Renaissance Village is the right choice for you. An example of the difference is the type of record keeping performed at Renaissance Village. Here, physician reports and care plans are updated annually, And with any significant changes, monthly weights are taken and nutritional records and changes of condition are documented. Renaissance Village staff may include limited number of professional nurses. Unlicensed caregivers will be involved in certain routine functions. And while memory care might be the right choice for your loved one, there are limitations to the level of care provided. Thus, it's important to remember these limitations in light of what the resident's needs may be in the future, especially if functional declines occur. Freedom of movement. Renaissance Village has purpose-built memory care villas designed to offer residents a secure and structured environment. However, a resident may still wander, either by accident or on purpose, into the wrong room or a situation inside the memory care facility where there's potential for injury. It's important that you realize the residents will not have a staff member assigned individually to monitor his or her movement throughout the entire day and night. Please understand that you're not purchasing 24-hour per day one-on-one care. No employee will be assigned to individually monitor the resident all day. The resident and physician. Moving into a memory care community does not change in any way a resident's relationship with his or her physician. The resident's personal physician will continue to have oversight into the medical needs of the resident, just as when they were living at home. Memory care staff may provide some light health care services and assistance with medications, but these services are always under the order of the resident's physician. It's important to note that while living in any assisted living or memory care community, all over-the-counter medications, even vitamins and supplements, must be ordered by a physician. Resident's level of care. Renaissance Village has multiple levels of care that can be assigned to a resident upon move-in. The level of care for a resident is determined following an assessment with Renaissance Village staff in conjunction with the physician's assessment. The responsible party must agree to the assigned level of care explained in the service document that's drawn up following the assessment. This service document, or plan of care, indicates what services will, within reasonable limitations, be delivered to best meet a resident's particular needs, based on their individual social and physical abilities and awareness. The residents or responsible party must agree with the service document or plan of care. This plan is reviewed on a regular basis, hopefully with input from caring family members. Levels of care generally are determined by the amount of assistance a resident requires with the activities of daily living, things like grooming and taking medications. The level of care needed by a resident generally determines the total cost of care. Typically, the more assistance the resident needs, the greater the fee for the care provided. To learn more about these levels of care and the California regulations that define them, please ask a Renaissance Village staff member to provide more detailed information. Nutrition and hydration. Statistics indicate that many Americans are somewhat malnourished and/or dehydrated. Anyone who doesn't eat properly or drink enough fluids damages his or her health, whether at home or at Renaissance Village. Not eating and drinking becomes even worse if a resident is depressed about being in a memory care facility, causing a decrease in appetite. We will courteously encourage a resident to eat or drink, but we will not force a resident who refuses. You, as the responsible party, will play a significant role in partnering with Renaissance Village to address any weight loss, fluid intake, or nutritional issues that the resident may encounter. Thus, we encourage you to contact the appropriate Renaissance Village staff when you have any kind of nutritional concerns. Please only consider a move to Renaissance Village if you understand that we'll provide nourishing food and drink, but we will not insist that a resident consume them. Trustworthiness of People. Renaissance Village takes theft very seriously and strives to hire people with high ethical and moral standards and a compassion for others. However, we simply cannot read the minds and consciences of all of our employees. It's important that you understand that the residents moving from a familiar private environment like home into an unfamiliar group living setting. The addition of a variety of people means that there are extra risks. And while this may sound insensitive, everyone takes risks during a normal day. Think about going to the store, for example. There's the risk of physical or verbal assault, neglect by store employees, and theft, among others. These same risks exist in any environment where there are many people, including memory care communities like Renaissance Village. We believe these risks are small at Renaissance Village, but when residing in any group living environment, especially a memory care facility, it's wise to take precautions to reduce temptations. This includes taking proper care of money and valuables. It's also important to remember that memory care residents often misplace items. Objects such as hearing aids may be misplaced or flushed down the toilet. We encourage you not to leave valuables in your loved one's memory care apartment. We encourage you to speak with our staff about the steps you can reasonably take, things like replacing jewelry with fake or costume jewelry. We believe that the risk is small, but before moving yourself or your loved one into Renaissance Village or any other memory care community, you should understand and accept fully the risks of living in a group environment. Realistic expectations. We wish that all the residents we serve could receive 24-hour one-on-one assistance. We don't doubt this level of service would be beneficial to all residents, but constant supervision would merely lessen, not eliminate, the risk of falling, wandering into danger, choking, etc. The amount paid to memory care communities, such as the Renaissance Village, does not provide for such a level of service, and that's why memory care communities cannot provide 24-hour one-on-one care and monitoring for residents, unless special additional services are purchased. We sincerely look forward to the opportunity to serve you. However, we want you to consider your move to Renaissance Village in light of what you've just seen. Renaissance Village cannot and does not plan to insulate residents from the risks associated with normal living or from the consequences of their actions. We try hard to make reasonable efforts to protect residents. However, please remember that residents are not individually supervised 24 hours per day and may independently choose to do things that are harmful. Although we wish otherwise, the financial realities of the payments we receive for our services just do not allow us the means to provide constant care and monitoring. You should understand that the memory care setting is designed in a way intended to reasonably enhance and maximize the quality of life and dignity of our residents. The aging process. While not all residents of Renaissance Village are elderly, the majority of them are. And there are certain physical changes and conditions that occur to all of us as we age, try as we may to fight them. Changes in vision, hearing, and smell occur naturally as we age. Our hair turns gray or thins and falls out. Skin becomes thin and wrinkles, which may result in skin tears. It becomes more difficult to tell whether we're hot or we're cold. We become less flexible and our bones become more brittle. Our hearts and blood vessels become less elastic and circulation may change. This is one reason why bruising occurs so easily. Breathing becomes more difficult and our nervous systems and urinary systems may not function as well as when we're young. The decreased functions that occur with aging cause older individuals to become more prone to things like infections, falls and accidents, skin tears, and bruising. If you've ever tried to help an elderly family member walk or stand up, you may have bruised them or torn their skin. It happens because their skin has thinned over the years, not because you weren't careful. Blood pressure cuffs and tourniquets to draw blood for tests are necessary, but even when someone's trained in the proper way to use them, they may cause bruising. We make efforts to prevent it, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. Life is full of risks. Aging increases some of those risks, and those risks continue whether you're living at home or in a group setting. If a resident refuses to eat or drink properly and adequately in an assisted living community, it's just as bad as at home. Falls can occur anywhere. Bones weakened by osteoporosis can break without warning anywhere. Skin breakdown and bruising can easily occur at home or at a memory care community such as Renaissance Village, although we make reasonable efforts to prevent it. Choking on food, getting into a situation of potential or actual harm, or being treated badly by people are all risks associated with living, whether it's at home or at a memory care like Renaissance Village. Small incidents can seem more irritating when they occur in a memory care setting than when they happen at home, probably because they're not always under a resident's direct control anymore. And although we make efforts to prevent it, sometimes an article of clothing gets lost when we do the laundry. Just like when doing the laundry at home, sometimes we can't find that other sock. At home, you laugh about it and wonder where all those socks go. But in a memory care community, sometimes residents use it as a way of venting their frustration over losing self-sufficiency. We understand this, and we try to reassure our residents, hoping you realize that the problem really isn't the lost sock in the laundry, or that the food isn't tasty. We hope that this presentation has answered many of your questions about life at Renaissance Village. Our goal is to be open and honest and communicate what a resident can and cannot expect while living at Renaissance Village. Your trust and confidence in us as a resident or responsible party is valuable to us, and we'll always strive to meet our residents' needs at every reasonable way. We believe this can occur if realistic expectations are established in advance, and if we all understand that it's impossible to provide a risk-free environment anywhere, and to come anywhere close to it would be staggeringly expensive. Please only consider a move to Renaissance Village or any memory care community if you fully understand that the normal risks of daily living do not disappear once one moves into this or any other memory care community. For you to be pleased with the service provided, it's absolutely necessary that you fully and completely understand and accept these realities. If you're interested in our memory care community and want a contract for any additional services, please see our staff. They'll assist you in locating such services and explain the additional fees. Thank you for your interest in Renaissance Village. We look forward to the honor of serving you or your loved one and wish you the very best. We believe that the information you've just seen is so important. We recommend you share the information with family and friends who may have questions of their own about life in a memory care community like Renaissance Village.